YouTube at my PC, and today I'm making a tutorial for you guys. In today's tutorial we're going to be talking about loops. What a loop is, it's where you take a condition and it'll repeat a certain code over and over again until that condition is no longer met. In games you'll see a lot of times it'll say, if you come within a certain distance of the solid, keep moving closer to it little by little until you've hit it. That's the kind of situation we're using, and that way you have a precise collision in the game and it looks nicer. And one time when I used it was I was doing a programming challenge where I had to find out what the, I believe, 50th Fibonacci number was. So I'd run the Fibonacci code in the loop and I'd say, keep running through the Fibonacci sequence until you reach 50th number. And that's the kind of situation where you'd use loops in. So there are three types of loops I'd like to talk about today. And those are while loops, do while loops, and for loops. So first talk about the while loop. While loop's the most straightforward. The way the while loop is, you type down while, parentheses, and in between the parentheses you put a condition where you'd say this variable equals 3, this variable is less than 5, this variable, and something along those lines. And then if that condition is met, it'll go through the code between the point brackets that follow. And anything can go in that code really. So just keep repeating until the condition between the parentheses is met. So it's possible that if you don't design your program very well, that condition is never met, and it'll just keep going infinitely, and your program will never end. So that's something you be careful of. And well, that's true for all loops. Okay, next loop we're going to talk about is the do while loop. So this one you type down do, and then you type down pointing brackets, and in the pointing brackets put down what you want to do, and after that type down while, and then put the parentheses and the condition in the parentheses. And this do while and while basically work the same way. Okay, and then the third and last loop we're going to talk about today is called the for loop. Now the for loop is probably my favorite because it takes into account more than the while or do while loop. So the way a for loop works is you type down for in parentheses. Rather than have just a condition in parentheses, there's actually three parts to it. There's the initialization, condition, and increment. In initialization you create a variable or maybe a few variables. That is what you want it to be in the beginning of the for loop. That's how you want the variable to look like in the beginning of the for loop. And next is the condition. At what point do you want to exit out of the loop? And then the last one, increment, how do you want the variables to change every time you go through the loop? So an example would be you'd say you create integer I equals 0 in the initialization, and for the condition you say if I is less than 5, or sorry, no if, just I less than 5, and for the increment you might say I plus is I add 1. And so that way it'll go through it 5 times. And so you can control exactly how many times it goes through it, and you can also use it for situations where it's unclear how many times to go through it. So that's what I like about for loops. So anyway, so now I'm going to teach you how to use all three of them in our tutorial. Alright, so I've already named my file. I call this one loop Dr. Pepper. You'll find out why we named it loop Dr. Pepper in a second, but for now we're going to create a public class and the main method. Alright, and that's all done. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be practicing loops, as you found out as you saw in the abstract concepts, and we're going to print out all the lyrics for the song. It's like the road trip song, or 99 bottles of something on the wall, 99 bottles of something on the wall, 99 bottles of something, take one down, pass it around, 98 bottles of something on the wall, and then it keeps going until you don't have any bottles left anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable, or I'm going to make it int, called int I. I'm going to set equal to 9. When we finish it, we're going to set equal to 99, and it'll go through all the lyrics, so this will represent how many bottles we're going to start with. And right now we're going to do while loop. I'm actually going to do the same thing 3 times, and I'm going to show you how to do it for the while loop, the do while loop, and the for loop. So right now we're going to do the while loop. I'm going to say while I does not equal 1, because we're starting at 9, we're going to keep going down until it equals 1. And when it equals 1, we want it to break out of the loop. And then every time it goes through that, we're going to say I minus dear system out.println. I'm going to put some text here. That's going to be the first verse of it, but for now I'm going to explain the concept of the while loop. So I'm a little comment here to explain the while loop. Alright, so that's how that works. And alright, so now I'm going to print stuff out. The first line is 99 bottles of Dr. Pepper on the wall, because this one would be Dr. Pepper. So we could say I, because that's the first number, plus bottles Dr. Pepper. And now I'm just going to put a plus sign here and go on the next line. You can't spread strings like this out over multiple lines, so I'm just going to periodically put a plus sign, make a new string, even though we're not finished with the string yet. Because now we got 9 bottles of Dr. Pepper on the wall, and then we're going to say 9 bottles of Dr. Pepper. Now that's the first line. Now the second line in the refrain is going, so we're going to move to the next line for that. So remember the slash n symbol signifies move on the next line. Take one down and pass it around. And then it goes down one because now one's been taken down. So we say I minus 1. Okay, so we got this whole code that's executed every time we go through the while loop. And first we'll go through it with 9, so say 9 bottles, then right here it says I minus 1, it'll say 8 bottles. Then it says I minus minus, which means subtract 9 by 1, or subtract I by 1. And then we've done 8, and go through this again, say 8 bottles, and then 7 bottles. And it'll keep repeating that process until we're down to 1 bottle. And once we're down to 1 bottle, it'll move on to this code that we have here, which is going to be basically all this lyrics we have here, only for 1. So I'll just type that down. Okay, so now I've basically retyped that whole refrain that we did in the loop, only for 1. And now we're going to add on the final refrain, which is when you have no bottles left. So at this point, we'll just type down how many we started with. We could make a new variable to use right here, but since we're only using it at this one spot, it's really we really might as well just use it like this. Whew. Alright, that was a mouthful. So, but look at this. We did some 20 lines of code, and when we print it out, so compile it, and then I made a few mistakes here. It appears I've got to put a plus sign right there. Yeah, I'm gonna save it again and try and compile it again. Oh yeah, that was it. Pretty easy fix. So now we're gonna compile it. No, now we're gonna run it and see what happens. So here we go. You can read through this and it will match the lyrics of the song perfectly. There's one thing I want to change though. I want there to be another line skipped at the end of the refrain that you're looping, because that way you can tell the refrains apart. So now we're going to so now we can change this to 99, I equals 99, and we can change to 99, and remember, we have 20 lines of code, and then with it, we should be able to print out over 100 lines of code, which I think is pretty cool. So compile, and run. So look at this, we have all the lyrics printed out for the whole thing, over 100 lines of code, 100 lines printed out, and it doesn't even fit in the command window. See, it starts at 98 right here because we can't scroll up far enough. Now we have the whole thing here now. So now comes the boring part, or the interesting part as the case may be, where I'm going to show you how to do the exact same thing, only with different types of loops. So I'm going to save this as something else. This one was with Dr. Pepper, and the next one we're going to do with Cherry Coke, because I don't want my videos I want them to be unbiased and support neither Coke products nor Pepsi products. So this is going to be Cherry Coke. And now this next one's going to be a do-while loop. So what you do is you take this while section and put it after the last thing and type down do. And that's it. I'll type down the difference between do-while and a while. Do-while. Okay, so the do-while loop will run the code at least once, even if the condition is not met. So in some cases you would always want the loop to run at least once, because often there's important stuff in there that's used later on. And if it's not ran at all, you would have problems. So in this case, if we set I equal to 1, we'd want to skip the loop because we have 1 taken care of after the loop. But like I said earlier, there's certain times when you want it to run it no matter what, and there's also times like this where it's okay to skip the loop. That's the do while loop. Oh, and now I'm just going to use Control F to replace Dr. Pepper with Cherry Coke. Sorry, I'm a bad teacher. You have to put a semicolon after the while at the end of the do while loop. And another thing I forgot is that I told you from day one that the name of your class needs to match the name of your file. So we named it Cherry Coke, so we gotta make sure that the match that in the code. There we go. So now I compiled it successfully. Loop Cherry. Now we're gonna run it, and it should come out exactly the same way it did just now, which it does, only it says it for Cherry Coke. Last one. File save as. Next is gonna be called cream soda. Still unbiased because, to my knowledge, neither Pepsi or Coke can make cream soda. So loop cream soda, and next we're going to talk about the for loop. So if you pay attention to the do while loop, we do 3 things revolving around this variable I, and they are very important for the loop to work properly. First, you initialize it, and then you create a condition with that variable to show how long you want it to run, and then in the code you put down what you want to happen every single time. So the for loop basically notices that there's these 3 things you do with the variable and takes them into account in the first step. So now we'll take this while away, we'll take this do away, we're going to take this I minus minus out in the code, and we're going to take away the int variable. Alright, so now for is type down for and put in the parentheses. I put 2 semicolons. So three sections here. You got before the first semicolon, between the two, and after the second semicolon. Before the first semicolon, that step is called initialization. So it's the variable you want to create it at the beginning of the loop. In this case, it would be our I equals 99 that we had earlier. So I'll just type down int I equals 99. Be sure to put down the int because we're still defining the variable. Then comes the condition, which is I cannot equal 1. And while that condition is met, the loop will continue. And then we want to happen to I every time the loop is completed, so I minus minus. A lot of people like this one better because it takes into account, it's just cleaner because this is done in one line, while the while and do while loops do this in not far more, just a couple more lines. It really doesn't matter which one you use, but a lot of people like the for loop for that reason. So I'll change this. So now we've done that. Now I'm going to use my handy dandy Control F to switch out Cherry Coke with cream soda. Really could have used Control R. I don't know. Cherry Coke, cream soda. Place all. Yes, wonderful. And change the title this time. Last time I forgot. And cream soda. Alright, so that is our code for the for loop. And compile it. And now runs everything fine, just like I did earlier. Only now I use the for loop. Alright, that is all for this tutorial. It's nice to know how to work with loops. Stick around for the challenge to see how well you understood it. Alright, so here's today's challenge. Let's say you're a freshman in high school or you're in late middle school and you're learning about algebra and how to draw graphs and that kind of stuff. If you have a similar educational background as me, you had to take these little train track things where you you write down the corresponding values for when you plug in numbers to a curve or a graph. So in this case, if you have the equation 5x plus 3, you have to type down if x equals 1, then y equals 8. And you have to do that for several numbers and just a lot of plugging in, and it can be annoying. I would recommend probably just plugging in numbers and going ahead because it helps you with your mental and math skills. But if you don't want to do that, then you can do this as well. So today's challenge is to make a program that will plug in numbers for you and tell you what they are when you plug them into the formula. You can change on the formula in the code, but this is written with the formula 5x plus 3. Maybe you can figure out a way to do that with input, but we'll see. So I called it algebra loop, and here we go. Formula 5x plus 3, f of negative 5 equals negative 22, f of negative 4 equals negative 17, and there you go, all the values are right there for you, so it will make it so much easier to graph now that you know that. So that's today's challenge. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please comment or like the video and comment just to support the channel, and if you would like to see more, you could subscribe and you'll be notified whenever I make new ones. If you found this challenge helpful and like to try out some more, I have a list of challenges on my website, cineforge.co. You can also find my games and a list of my tutorials. For now, just game making tutorials, but I'll be adding on Java tutorials soon. So the website's a work in progress, and if you have any critique about the website, I would be happy to actually, I'll really appreciate if you told me about it so that I can make it better, make it actually the best, so I can make the website as good as possible. So with that said, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.